Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to our next video in our dotCMS headless playlist. And in the previous video, you have all seen that we have completed our homepage, which looks a lot more similar to our wipe coded site homepage. And the good part is that the data is coming from dotCMS, so we can, just go and change the content in dotCMS, and it will be rendered automatically without redeploying our front-end site. So in this video, we'll be going one step forward and we will be targeting our about page right over here, which looks something like this. So without wasting our time, let's roll the intro and start the proceedings. Okay, so now let's come to our about page right over here, and we will be starting our journey with this section right over here, in which we'll be having our heading and our subheading right over here. Then we'll be having our this bio section. Then moving on, we will be having our personal laboratory, and then our core philosophy, and then we are having our this ending section right over here, which looks something like a card. So let's first design this thing right over here, and I will be designing this as a separate content type because we can reuse this as well in other pages, right? So what I will be doing is I will be just going into our dotCMS studio right over here, and inside this I'll be going into our schema, into our content types, and let's go and create a new content type. And this time I will call that as my section heading. So let me just click over here. So it's my section heading, and then for maybe I can see if there is something related to text, maybe something like this one, and then I will call as description if this is my section heading, and I will leave the rest as default. So let's create this stuff. Once that is created, I know that for my section heading, if you come to my site, I will be having one title and one description, or you can call it as like one heading and then one subheading, right? Depending on your, I would say, use case. So I will go and just drop a text field right over here. So let me just find that one. So this is my text field. Let me just drop this right over here. And this time I will call this as my heading. And then this is required. And let's save this, right? Once I create my heading for description, I will be dropping this text tree right over here. And I will this time call it as like maybe like description, or let's call it as like sub heading, right? And once that is done, I will also mark this as required, and let's save this. So again, you know the drill. Once your content type is ready, all you have to do is to just come over here, select add to menu, and I will be adding this under my content menu. So let's go and select content, and list is the default. We will go with that one, and let's add that. Once that is added, let's close that dialog, and now you can go to your content section right over here, and this time you will be having your section heading right over here. So let's create a new content type, or not new content, but it will be a new content-let of section heading content type. And this time our heading is the similar one. So I will just copy this from here, and let's go and paste it right over here. And for the subheading, I will just copy this stuff right over here. Let's go and paste it over here. And once that is done, let's publish that stuff. Once that is published, you know, and I know, we have to just go and place it into a page, and we are good to go. So now let's close the stuff over here, and let's go into our site manager, into our pages, because right now we have to create a new page, which will be our about page right over here. Okay. And now you know that we are not having our about page because we are already having our home page and test page. So let's go into our studio. Let's create a new page, and this will be of type page. I will call it as like my about page, and it will pop the URL by default. And then I will say show on menu because I want to show this on menu. And for the sort order, I will just mark it as like 2 because I want to place it just after homepage. And once that is done, I think I'm good with the default. So let's save this thing. And once that is saved, let's publish that stuff. Once that page is published, now we can come to our pages section right over here. And inside our about page, this is what it looks like. Okay. And now what we can do is we can just go into our this container, into our layout. You can see right over here, we are already having our one row, and we are having our one system container already there, right? So let's go into our content section, and let's go into our section heading, and let's drop this right over here. And once you drop it, you know, and I know that we are missing our React component for rendering our section heading content type. So let's go and get our hands dirty with the code. So now let's move to our IDE right over here, in which we are having our site, which is rendered by dotCMS, and the second one is our wipe coded site. So let's search for our app.tsx, which is the home for all the content. So we have already completed our this zero section thing right over here. Now it's time for our about section. So let's go into our about section right over here. And over here, if you just scroll down, you can see right over here, we are having this section heading component right over here, which is having our title, our subtitle, and our accent. And if we just go over here, this is what the component for that section look like, which is our section heading. So without wasting our time, let's go to our top and let me just copy all the stuff from here. Let's go into our Next.js side and let's create a new component, and I will call it as like section heading dot tsx and paste the content over here. And once that is done, let me just save the stuff. And right over here, this is what our section heading looks like. And now we all know that in case of our thing, we are having our props way different, which are coming from dotCMS. So if we just go to our Chrome right over here, and if we just go into our schema and into our section heading, we are having our heading and subheading. So let's just paste this to like heading. And this time this will be our subheading, and this is not optional. This will be coming. For accent, we are having our tech and devrel, but I will keep them as devrel for now. So let's go with heading, and then this will be our subheading. And once that is done, let's go over here. Instead of title, we will call it as like our heading. And over here, I will come over here and say this is my subheading right over here. And I think we are good to go. So let me just change this as well. This is our subheading. And now since we know that we are having our subheading as required, so we can just remove this condition from here as well as this bracket right from here. I think we are good to go. And once that is done, I think we can go and register our component into our index.ts. Let's come over here, and inside this, we can just duplicate this and call it as like a section heading, which will be pointing to this section heading. So let me just delete this and call this as section heading. And we are good to go at this point. So now what we can do is if we just go to our Chrome and let's go to our home page right over here and let's refresh this stuff. And now you can see we are having our about page. And if we go into our about page, this is where our heading and subheading is being displayed. And the good part is that this is coming from .cms headlessly. So if we just go to your content type and come to your content and you are this section heading contentlets, and let's just edit it. And if I update it right over here and let's publish the stuff, and once that is published, you know that if I come over here and refresh this, you can see updated being rendered right over here. So now the next part is just to style it properly. So let's go and see in our wipe coded side what is there in the styles which we are missing. So now if you come to my IDE and over here, let's go into our wipe coded side and let's go one step back. And over here, you can see that this inside our about section, this section heading is being rendered inside this motion component right over here. So let me just go and copy this stuff right over here. So let me just copy it. Let's go back to our section heading. And over here, what I will be doing is I will be just coming over here and pasting the stuff. And let's go to our end. And over here, I will just come over here and let's wrap things around. And let me see how this is being wrapped over here. So let's go to the end and we need just this line and let's paste it right over here and let's save the stuff. Now, once that is done, we are missing our page variant. So let's see what page variants look like. So this is something like this. Let me just copy this and paste it right over here. And I think this time we are not having any exceptions. And now if we just come to our site right over here and refresh it, you can see this time it is being styled properly, similar to our about page right over here. And now what I can do is I can just make it similar to this one by going into our content studio and let's edit this stuff and just remove the updated from here. And let's publish this thing. And once that is published, let me see what other thing we are missing. So if you refresh this thing, now we're showing one line, but we're still having this bracket being rendered. So let's see where this bracket is coming from. Yeah, so this is coming from here. Let me just remove this and save the stuff. And I think we are good to go. And now the good part is that once you have your this content type ready, you can just go and reuse this anywhere on any page you like. So if you just come to your maybe like .cms instance, and over here, let's go into like pages, and let's say in our about page, we want to maybe add one more content type of this section heading, right? So we can just go into our layout, into maybe like, let's drop another row over here, and let's make it full width because it is taking our full width. Now, if you just come to your content section, you can just go and drag and drop this right over here. And this time you can see, if we just publish this stuff, once you publish this, you can see right over here, if I refresh my front end side, we are having two headings right over here. So that is how you can go and reuse the same content type on any page in your front end Next.js app, which is being rendered via .cms. So that's all from this video. In the next video, we'll go and see how we could render our this bio section right over here. So see you on the other side. Thanks for watching.